The most famous figure for a pay gap is the women earn 79 cents on the man's dollar. But what does that really mean? The median wage for men and women in a given population are compared to each other. For example, 50k for men, 39.5 for women. Then you divide one by the other and you get 0.79 or 79%. Now if you're a feminist, it's at this point you say, therefore, women are paid 21% less than men for doing the exact same work. And if you've seen any other discussion around this topic, you will know I'm not being hyperbolic. But let's not be feminists and actually do some further digging. So quick recap. According to labor and other government statistics, we can tell that as a group, men earn more money than women in a given population. But we're not illiterate, and we know words have a specific meaning, and that men earning more does not mean that they're paid more necessarily. The problem is that people often confuse the two. Here's a quick analogy to illustrate the point more clearly. John and Jane both work at McDonald's as cashiers working part-time. Jane works Sundays and John works both Saturday and Sunday. Obviously, there is going to be an earnings gap between these two, as John works twice as much as Jane does. And so his weekly wages are going to be twice as high, and yet they're both paid the exact same amount per hour. The problem with the wage gap is that it tells us almost nothing except that men earn more money than women do as a whole. And this gap also shrinks the more variables you look at. For example, the 79 cents figure consists of looking at only gender. Then you look at hours and the gap shrinks. Then you plug in occupation and experience and the gap shrinks again. Now, these numbers are only for demonstration purposes, only linked, but below are some studies which look at the same ideas, but in greater detail with real numbers. Let's limit misinformation.